everybody, welcome to the stream. Something that should be immediately obvious. We are in a new setting today. Check this out. Yeah, welcome to my kitchen. I was worried that I'd have to like show you guys my messy kitchen, but there's a perfectly clear wall right here that I could use for my backdrop. Unfortunately, this setup means because I'm gonna be working on a tabletop today, so I needed space. Unfortunately, that means my microphone has to be over there, and the audio's a little jank. I don't have a boom mic or a lapel or, well, you know what? I haven't thought of this until now. Maybe I can use I have like a headset with a microphone on it. Maybe I'll try that next time. But yeah, the stream is going to be a little jank today. I hope the audio isn't too much of a problem. This is the best solution I could find. There wasn't anything tall enough that I could ideally I would have been able to clip it onto my table, but it has rounded edges, so it doesn't bite onto the table. But the microphone's right here, so you can hear how it doesn't sound horrible now. But I have to stand off the. I have to stand out of frame. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. So this is what we're gonna have to deal with. So what's the plan for today? The plan is I want to get to the costume stuff, but before I do that, I feel like I'm on a cooking show. I feel like I'm on one of those daytime television cooking shows. I'm trying to sell you something, right? It's an infomercial. What we're gonna do, I finished the lore for Ego and Opus off stream, so I'm going to read that. I'm gonna read the finished product for you guys, catch you up on that. I want all that documented for you, and then I'm gonna show you what pieces I have already for the costume, and then we're actually gonna start cutting out pieces. The first goal is we're not going to be sewing today, I don't think. Though I did get the piece that I needed, so the sewing machine will function properly. That's good. But what we're going to do today is we're going to measure and we're going to cut out pieces, or we're going to make patterns, and then we're going to cut out pieces. That's the goal for today. But first, let me go ahead and switch over. Now you can hear me, right? Okay, thank goodness. The microphone is on, and you can see that, right? Now, I failed to have a little bit of forethought here, because for this to work, my computer's on the other side of the table. Nice hat. I can see it. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Also, the computer's so far away that I have to have my chat on my phone, so I'll try to look up and down periodically. Yeah, the hat is because I need a haircut, and it's getting in my way. I don't want to be here all stream like doing this, getting it out of my eyes. So I'm going. For my benefit, I'm going to zoom this in. Okay, so I finished the bios. Do we want to read the bios and the rest of the narrative? Because I finished that as well, or just the bios. Well, I mean, if you're in it for, what's the phrase? If you're in it for a penny, you're in it for $1, right? Is that what they say? But where is it that we stopped last time? I think it was, oh no, he looked just like you, Melvin. Trying to be sneaky about it. Decided to explore. Okay. This is where we stopped last time. So, again, this doesn't have anything to do with the costuming, but you know, this was the last project that we were doing. I finished it off stream, so I'll catch you up on what's going on. So in this story, basically, for anybody who doesn't already have prior context, there's a woman here named Kara Perpin. She's in a country called Miaeus for a art festival called the Miaeus Grand Showcase, which takes place in this giant building called the Babylopticon, which is made up of 7 different towers, and each tower is for a different exhibit of a different art form, right? You know, for a dime, in it till I die. Maybe that's not quite right. I think I had the right version, but we'll ignore that for now. You're the mod. You have the sword. Babylopticon, 7 towers, 7 art forms, and she is going to each of these on each of the 6 remaining days of the festival. So we'll start from this paragraph here. Oh, and she was talking to a couple people that were there, 2 artists named Melvin and Carmen, because she's also there to learn more about her grandfather, because he didn't really tell much about his past when he was alive. So now she's going to Miaeus, where she knows that he used to be as a United Nations Peace Corps officer. So she's asking around. So Melvin and Carmen didn't have any more to tell me about my grandfather, but I stayed a little while longer to watch them conduct more tests and chat about the festival. Afterwards, we parted ways and I explored the rest of the tower, or at least what I was able to see with the time I had remaining. I feel like I'm reading a teleprompter right now. This is like surreal. Like I have the microphone and the ring light. I feel like I'm on some sort of weird set. Anyway, afterwards we parted ways and I explored the rest of the tower, or at least what I was able to see with the time I had remaining. My plan was to see 1 tower per day, but that was harder than expected. I'll spare you the details of everything I was able to see, because attempting to do so would unnecessarily protract this journal. Also, extensive documentation of all the exhibits at the 153rd Miaeus Grand Showcase already exist, and cover much more and in much more description than what I ever could. If you're interested in such reading, I would recommend Wonders of the Babylopticon by Corticia Cunningham, Adez Vaughn, and Yolanda Wilkins. However, I will go over the highlights of each of my days in brief. I decided to explore the Babylopticon systematically, taking on one of the suspended towers per day in a clockwise order, beginning with the eastern tower on the 2nd day. In order to reach it, I took the transport pod system, officially dubbed as the Folksway. Again, much like a Ferris wheel, an array of several large pods moved in a rotation. 2 pods at a time would open their doors as they slowly passed the station, and passengers would step on as they glided past. I stepped in with a large group of about 30 other people. The interior of the pod was lightly furnished, simply providing a set of benches on either side. However, small displays were set up, even in this fleeting space, which presented artworks by students from various schools around the city. The top half of the pod was transparent, allowing us to see the other pods around us and take in the view of the city through the windows in the tunnel. The ride to the other tower was leisurely, and I likely could have walked there faster, but I could appreciate slowing down the pace. I stepped out of the Folksway into the Amuleto Tower of Visual Mastery. Unlike the convention halls of the previous tower, this one was set up more so like a traditional museum. A circular hallway looped around the perimeter of the room, and one could branch off this hallway into smaller rooms, each serving as a vaguely themed exhibit featuring several artists' works. Many of the artists themselves were not present alongside their pieces and were likely enjoying the other parts of Babylopticon, but some sat on stools or stood by their artwork to offer some insight to anyone who would ask. One particular stone sculpture of a seahorse caught my eye, and I stopped to admire it. A man with a large rectangular mustache sat cross-legged on the floor to my right, who was also interested, so I took a seat next to him. The man's name was Ignal Sadim, and was a sculptor himself. He told me of the numerous times he had attempted to create that sculpture, only for it to fall apart before it was done. The point where the tail of the seahorse touches the base was very small, and delicate care was taken to balance the weight just right. I haven't stopped marveling at it. For them to get it up here intact, it is more impressive than my own work, I think, he mused. On the third day, I visited the Vivaldi Tower of Music and Sound. Where's my mouse? Music and Sound. The bottom floors resembled huge living rooms, furnished with chairs, couches, ottomans, and side tables, arranged into numerous lounge areas. Centered in these lounge areas were kiosks, fitted with dozens of pairs of headphones, which allowed festival goers to listen to music while relaxing. On the penultimate floor were small soundproof rooms for live performances, and the top floor was dedicated with a full-scale concert hall. When I got to the top floor, a duet was on stage featuring a man and a woman. They were performing a song in two separate languages, Japanese and Italian from what I could hear. It was some sort of pop song. Not really my taste, but they were good. They sounded synthetic, which I initially chalked up to auto-tune or something similar, but when I met them after their song, I realized that they were synthetic themselves. The woman was a holographic Vocaloid named Saturn, and the man was a robot named September. I never encountered anything like them before, so being introduced to them both simultaneously was a shock. Despite their artificial origin, they were quite friendly and behaved very naturally. If I didn't know any better, I would have believed they were flesh and blood. I hope you enjoyed our performance, Saturn chirped. September and I worked hard to get... oh boy, I need water. It's a good thing we're not keeping account of those, am I right? I hope you enjoyed our performance, Saturn chirped. September and I worked to get it just right. He did great, didn't he? It was a valuable learning experience. I haven't done many duets, but I also had a lot of fun as well, September smiled. On day 4, I went to the Alighieri Tower of the Written Word. Each floor featured a regal library that not only served as a fitting and dignified display for the works from the featured artists, but also functioned as a typical fully stocked library. In fact, plans existed to keep it there indefinitely, which justified its higher degree of design and permanent fixtures. Unfortunately, these plans were disrupted by the Ego War. I did not know this at the time, of course, and I elected to obtain a Babylopticon library card. The librarian I spoke to was a dry but courteous man named... Uh-oh. Hold on. Where's the D key? Okay. Was a courteous man named Werther Muffin. He had a thin head of hair. I don't know what that looked like on the camera. I hope that wasn't too horrifying. Named Werther Muffin. He had a thin head of hair and an even expression that was barely hidden behind his slender reading glasses. To my surprise, he recognized my name when I introduced myself. I admire your work, Miss Perpin, he said. You and your mother both. You have quite the interesting family, if you don't mind me saying so. Would it be right to assume you didn't visit simply to see the sights? I confirmed his suspicions and explained that I was looking for details about my grandfather. In retrospect, I find it strange that he would ask a question like that, but at the time, the excitement of meeting a fan overrided such thoughts. Moffin listened to me with focused attention. He was busy, but took some time to think and recommend me a book. Allow me to recommend The Secrets of the Pendulum and Why I Don't Need Them by Pizant's Swern. For a guide on hypnotism, it's not horribly exciting, but I think it may be useful to you, Moffin suggested. He pointed me in the right direction, and I thanked him for his time. Among the featured artist's books, the comma should be back. It should be over here. Among the featured artist's books, which were marked with special red spines, I found the aforementioned title. I intended to leave for the house early in order to read some of it, but predictably got lost exploring the tower. I eventually checked out my copy of Secrets of the Pendulum and went on my way. I hope you find what you're looking for, Miss Perpin. I'm looking forward to another remarkable story, Moffin said with a nod. The 5th day brought me to the Canali Tower of the Performing Arts. Each floor of this tower featured rows of rooms separated by soundproofed walls, and each contained a small stage and a number of chairs. As I ascended up the tower, the rooms became larger and larger until the top floor, which featured a fully sized auditorium. It was on the 2nd floor that I noticed a trio of mimes had attracted a disproportionately large crowd. I fit myself into their room and watched. The mimes stood side by side. The one in the middle mimed a box around himself. Standard fare, I thought to myself. Then the two on either side of them began to press themselves up against the box with uncanny realism. They attempted to get the middle mime out by punching and kicking the box until resorting to tipping the box over. Again, it was unreal how realistic their portrayal was, but it was topped off when the mime on the left threw their hat behind them in frustration, and it landed on top of the box, floating in midair. The room gasped and then applauded. A man with long hair and a smarmy presence came forward from the crowd. "You mind if I give it a shot?" he asked. The mimes looked at each other and then back at the man. They nodded and beckoned him on stage. The man knocked on the box, then gave it a gentle kick. Finally, he took a seat on the box. He was shocked and began laughing. "You gotta be kidding me," he explained. "How about that?" The man splayed his arms and kicked a leg in the air with a showman's flair. The audience applauded once again, and the mimes took their bows, then stepped off stage to take a break. They communicated to each other in sign language, but when I met the middle mime, he introduced himself to me as Shelby. He said he couldn't talk for long, but thanked me for attending the performance. Day 6 was my most anticipated. On that day, I was finally able to visit the Messispugo Tower of Cooking and Cuisine. Since my first day at the Babylopticon, the scents wafting from the tower into the central tower tantalized me, but I held steadfast. The entire tower was a multi-story, world-class restaurant with a menu featuring dishes from the featured culinary artists. Although the menu items changed each day, so as not to have a menu that folded to the floor, the logistics of such an operation must have been a nightmare. And if I had thought about it for any length of time, I may have lost my appetite. However, I did not, and I enjoyed one of the best meals of my life. On the final day, day 7, I entered the Furlano Tower of Combat Technique. Throughout the week, an interdisciplinary exhibition fighting tournament had been taking place, utilizing various arenas of differing shapes and sizes that were spread out across the tower. There were about 6 to 10 raised arenas set up per floor, with room enough for spectators to gather around them. Since I was there on the final day, many of the arenas were empty. However, small stands were set up next to each to allow for visitors to see results of past fights and even watch highlighted clips. All of the action was happening on the top floor. Stepping foot inside was like traveling to a different world. Suddenly, I was no longer in an art festival, but at the main event of a WrestleMania. After adjusting to the bombastic lighting, I was able to see before me a massive arena. The stands were filled with excited spectators that charged the room with competitive energy. I took a seat just as a match was finishing. And at its conclusion, the audience roared. Quite a different experience from the last 6 days, but I strapped myself in for it. I witnessed the last 5 matches of the single elimination bracket, which culminated in a grand finals bout between Lycea II, a tall, muscular woman with dreadlocked hair, and a masked man in layers of regal orange and blue cloaks who went by the stage name CRVFR, pronounced Carver. They were seated in the bracket first and last, respectively, owing to Lycea's overwhelmingly ferocious id-fist style, which channeled her fighting spirit into her strikes as blood-red energy, and Carver's obscurity. However, Carver upset everyone along his way by using a baffling technique that felled his enemies in a single strike. Half of the crowd rallied against Lycea, wanting to see the mysterious man's reign of terror come to an end, and the other half rooted for the underdog to take it all. They met each other in the center of the arena, and after the countdown, the fight began. Lycea's eyes and fists flared with red energy, and she immediately went on the offense with a heavy right hook. Carver was ready for it and ducked underneath. He retaliated by striking her in the gut. Lycea reeled backwards. Carver, thinking he had just won, preemptively turned to the audience and took a bow. Lycea recovered from the attack and decked Carver in the back of the head whilst he was distracted. It was not an instant knockout, so she finished him off with a devastating uppercut. She shouted victoriously, and her eyes and fists flared once again, expelling excess energy before dissipating. The announcer handed her a microphone. "My victory speaks for itself. You have witnessed my strength, and now I go. To those who would challenge me, I am ready. The second queen reigns!" Lycea exclaimed. The audience erupted, and Lycea exited the arena without another word, leaving Carver lying on the floor. The next day, Sunday, July 17th, 2022, marked the final day of the grand showcase. The Babylopticon had been closed and the displays packed up. The time for viewing and voting was over. Now it was time to name the best in discipline for each of the towers. Vincent and Harper decided to accompany me that day. Vincent and Harper being her host family, basically, while she's overseas in this foreign country. "It's the only part we really care about these days," Harper explained. "And it's all outside, so it's not so claustrophobic." And indeed it was. The mayor of Mieus, Mayor Mozzabigi, stood on a balcony high up on the front of the Babylopticon Central Tower. Projections on the smaller towers and surrounding buildings broadcasted his face and voice over the city. The people were gathered wherever they could fit, in the streets, on rooftops, even in hot air balloons that floated low over the crowd. We had secured a spot on a balcony on the second floor of a nearby inn that a friend of Vincent's owned. Mozzabigi addressed the people. "Miausians of all persuasions, visitors of all walks, I welcome you. It has filled me with such indescribable pride, joy, and honor for our city to present the 153rd Mieus Grand Showcase. For the last 7 days, we have been graced with the greatest artists the world has to offer, bringing all of their talents into one place, unified under the awe-inspiring roof of the Babylopticon. We have been blessed to experience one-of-a-kind performances, artwork, music, and technological achievements. You have made your voices heard and voted on the greatest of these experiences. And today we reveal the winners of the Best in Discipline Awards." Mozzabigi revealed an envelope from his suit jacket, prompting excited applause from the city. The mayor continued his speech, gleefully ignorant of the events that were soon to transpire. About 15 minutes later, he began to open the envelope. "Now, without further ado, it is with great honor and pleasure that I will announce our winners! First up, the best in discipline for the School of Visual Arts is..." He lifted the paper from the envelope and read it over. His expression cycled quickly from excitement to confusion to shock, and then finally to dumbfounded amazement. Unbelievably, the winner of Best in Discipline for Visual Arts was also the Best in Discipline for Musical Arts, and Literary Arts, and Performing Arts, and Crafting, and Culinary, and Martial Arts. For the first time in the history of the Grand Showcase, a single artist swept the entire competition. The artist who achieved this feat was none other than Carver, the runner-up of the fighting tournament. He emerged onto the balcony to both applause and disbelief. He seized the microphone from the mayor and addressed the audience. Adoring populace, I stand before you today not as an artist, but thanks to you, the undeniably greatest artist in all the world. The audience applauded again, and glimpses of magenta lightning arced briefly through the air around his head. Nay, an achievement like this earns me more than that. Thanks to you, the adoring populace. That should be the adoring populace of the adoring populace of the entire world. I have become the greatest artist of all time. Once again, magenta lightning arced around his head, but also into the surrounding area. Even in front of Vincent, Harper, and I, some sparks began to sizzle. You have witnessed me as the mysterious Carver, and for years uncounted, I toiled under that name, perfecting the intricacies of every one of my countless talents until this moment. The world as my witness, domination of all artistic creation is mine. Before you today, I shed this moniker and reveal to you my true name, the name of the man who shall usher in the new Renaissance. Carver removed his mask and unhooded his cloaks, revealing an old man with long blonde hair and a magnificent mustache that connected to his head at the temples. Kreshwick Vonsen von Renschanch. The sky began to curdle into dark clouds, in which full bolts of lightning began to crack. The wind suddenly became harsh and blew magenta embers through the city. Mayor Motsubigi looked as troubled as anyone else, but continued the ceremony as planned. Mayutians of all persuasions, visitors of all walks, the mayor announced, join me in congratulations for the only artist to ever achieve all Best in Discipline awards at once, your unprecedented new champion, Kreshwick Vonsen von Renschanch. With this, Kreshwick ascended into the air and released a concentrated beam of magenta energy into the dark clouds above. The building tempest erupted into a lightning storm. See, this is why it's important to read this out loud. Okay. Erupted into a lightning storm. We ducked into the inn and closed the glass balcony door behind us. We heard chaos outside. Harper turned on the television and flipped to the news coverage. The audience was panicking and doing their best to scurry away or into shelter, but the people were so tightly packed that it quickly devolved into a stampede. Hot air balloons were crashing down into the city one by one. Kreshwick continued to ascend skyward, and the mayor was missing. Just then, the power in the inn cut out, and we were left in the dark. Vincent, Harper, and I sat on the beds and discussed what to do next, ultimately deciding to write out whatever was happening until things calmed down. We began to settle in for however long when a peculiar light, the same shade as the lightning, began to creep around the edge of the balcony door. It looked like a shapeless orb of magenta light, like a will-o-wisp or ball lightning. It stopped over the balcony in full view of us, as if it spotted us and was sizing us up. Vincent was the first to stand up and get closer to the thing. We all held our breath, each footstep drowning out the muted cacophony of the outside world. Vincent examined it from behind the glass and reached for the drapes. As soon as he looked away from it, it began to change. It morphed itself from a formless orb of light into a solid shape resembling a horned mask. Vincent reeled back, falling backwards onto the bed. In reaction to this, the mask spontaneously formed monstrous facial features that expressed both malevolence and twisted amusement. We screamed, which seemed to either embolden or provoke the creature. In any case, it flew through the balcony door, shattering it. We fell over ourselves trying to flee the room. It was not attacking, but instead floating around the room, screeching. It was either taunting us or attempting to intimidate us, like a circling predator. Hardly thinking, I grabbed my copy of Secrets of the Pendulum and swung as hard as I could. I missed, but it recoiled away. I waved it madly around the room in the general direction of the creature, like it was a holy book to a demon. I gained ground on it until I threw the book, which finally drove it out of the room. I checked on Vincent and Harper, who were thankfully unharmed, but understandably shaken. They locked the room door and took a rest on the beds. The book had landed on the balcony, so I cautiously went to retrieve my weapon. When I stepped outside, things had gotten worse. The streets were a turbulent river of people. Lightning damage was leaving gashes and scars on the cityscape. And above me, I could see hundreds of bright magenta orbs descending from the sky, drifting through Mieus like spores. My grandfather's story would have to wait. I had begun my own, and it wasn't going to right itself. The Ego War had begun. And that's the first chapter of the plot. Whew. That's the first chapter. All done. I'd say I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I've never written anything like that before. The only things I've ever written really like seriously were like plays. So writing something more like novel style, it was a fun experience. I think it turned out good. But moving along to the biographies, we are almost done here. Let me see. And don't worry, I did keep track of which ones were written off stream. So I won't be guessing here. Okay, so first up, hegemony. I'm just going to be knocking these out because we're already 30 minutes in. Hegemony Hark. School literature. Nationality, Belgian. Favorite insect, ant. Whilst attending secondary school, hegemony bore witness to gross mismanagement and poor conduct amongst the teachers and staff, ignoring lab safety protocol, foul language, and failure to observe proper procedure whilst preparing food, to name a few. However, she knew that she was not the first to notice these things, and that those who tried to blow the whistle before her had failed. Hegemony, therefore, bided her time and drafted a comprehensive expose to present to the superintendent. When that time came, the superintendent was impressed, but change came slowly. Still, she had seen that her words were capable of making a difference, which set her down her current path as an investigative journalist. Hegemony came to Mieus to follow up on a tip regarding allegations of fraud against a certain artist. Janet Dawson. School literature. Nationality, Croatian. Favorite subject, astronomy. What is it you would like to know about me? I can give you the page number. I love learning, both the act of doing so and the act of enabling it. This is why I have such a passion for the encyclopedia, a vertical slice of the world's collective knowledge that can fit in your hands. I recognize the beauty of the internet that we have now, but there is a special quality to wisdom that is read from a tome. There is a sense of adventure when a page is turned. What new information lies just ahead? What secrets are contained here in this book right underneath my nose? It is thrilling. I have contributed to encyclopedias on all manner of subjects, from botany to writers of foreign lands, from mysticism to rare collectibles, and beyond. There is no thing not worth learning about, and no limit to the depth of any subject. That is what I believe. Jeanette attended the grand showcase with her colleagues as festival goers. Tom J.J. Thomas. Literature. British. Favorite Sail Seeker Saga character? Ronald XI. A contentious author who penned the critically acclaimed fantasy novel Ballads of Ranguvenvek, in which the reader witnesses the fall of a nation to an overwhelming dark force through the perspective of a sapient horse named Kirkutha. While many praise Tom's prose and call Ranguvenvek a masterpiece, others deride his work for overly flowery language, excessive description of the smallest details, and its habit to flippantly kill off principal characters on a whim. Debate only escalated when Ranguvenvek was adapted into a television anthology series called The Sail Seeker Saga, which inherited Tom's proclivity for killing his protagonists at random. He takes his criticism in stride, even playing up the unhinged persona that his fans and detractors have put upon him. His most recent works have more or less been parodies of his own writing, becoming more and more exaggerated and absurd with each entry. Tom was in Mieus for a Sail Seeker Saga fan event, hosting a Q&A and offering autographs. Trajita Triste. Literature. Spanish. Hates horoscopes, but loves fortune cookies. At the age of 17, Trajita had his first, what he calls, premonition. He claimed that he had a daydream about a classmate falling down the stairs a day before it happened. He convinced himself that it was nothing but a coincidence, but premonitions continued to come to him sporadically over the next year. He never acted upon them, as he denied their legitimacy. Instead, he wrote down each of these experiences in a personal journal. As the years went on, the premonitions continued and the journal grew. Each entry became more and more abstracted and poetic, an outward display of his desire to fictionize this phenomenon. He released the best of these entries in an anthology titled I See, which launched his career as a poet. Trajita attended the grand showcase, as a festival goer. Omar Uldi. Marshall, Latvian, the Lich of Pokani. Omar is a man of advanced yet indeterminate age for whom official records don't seem to exist. He was discovered one day in the Pokani forest when he attacked a hiker for trespassing. In the years since, many other encounters have been recorded by various witnesses, each being pursued or attacked by Omar on sight, but never being able to track him down on their own terms. The Pokani forest is notorious for its connection to spirits and other worldly happenings. So some say that Omar is a guardian of the forest, who has revealed himself in the modern age. Others believe he is simply a strange old man. However, no one can doubt his skill as a fighter. Those who encounter him are grappled and wrestled until they are washed with an unexplainable exhaustion, after which Omar releases them and bids them exit the forest. No one is sure what would happen should they refuse. Omar was not sighted in Pokani for a year before inexplicably appearing in Mieus during the grand showcase. Sergeant Mullany. Marshall, American. Favorite flavor of gum? Wintergreen. Sergeant Michael Mullany is a sergeant in the United States Army who is notable for developing a unique fighting style called Tuyo Mio Mata. This style emphasizes using your opponent's strikes, momentum, and weapons against them, using a combination of deflection, grabs, throws, disarmament, and precise retaliating attacks. I decided to develop Toyo Mio Mata after a protracted encounter I had with an aggressive young man and his friends late one night. I came out on top, but not in good shape. I had been tired prior, and it took all my remaining energy to defend myself. The goal of Toyo Mio Mata is to provide the practitioner with the means to defend oneself as efficiently as possible, while conserving as much energy as possible, so as to be effective even at high levels of exhaustion. Sergeant Mullany and members of his unit participated in the grand showcase in order to demonstrate his new fighting style to the public. I didn't realize how many of these there were. Zagaisasasts, martial, Russian. Favorite animal? Seal. Zagais began training in the art of sambo at the age of 17 when a schoolmate agreed that she'd date him when he could lift and throw a tiger. He dedicated himself totally to this goal, and 8 years later, he recorded himself wrestling and successfully suplexing a Siberian tiger. By then, he was a borderline master of sambo and had forgotten why he sought to suplex a tiger, but he felt accomplished nonetheless. He was subsequently arrested for wrestling a member of an endangered species, but by a stroke of luck, the officer who reprimanded him was his old schoolmate. They didn't date, but she let Zagais off with a warning. He has since become a sambo master and fights for sport. Zagais entered the interdisciplinary tournament at the Grand Showcase, only to throw his second match for his opponent because he was hungry and it was going to take too long. Amavali Tutlio, musical, Miayushin, the king of string. A master violinist who is renowned for his trademark style in which he tunes his instrument whilst playing. This produces a unique sound that is distinctly his, but predictably leads to many broken strings in the heat of the performance. So adept is he that he is able to adapt a piece around a missing string anyway, only adding to the unorthodox sound of his music. He has formed a close relationship with many of the luthiers in Miayus. Some think that a player of his caliber would not make so many mistakes, and that he breaks his strings on purpose in order to visit these friends, therefore giving them extra business. Amavelli was relaxing in his home when the Ego War began. Amy Warble. Musical, British. Favorite time of day? Sunset. Emmy, short for Emanuelina, is the worship leader at her local church. She was suddenly thrust into the public spotlight when a video of her singing that was posted to the internet by a church visitor gained tens of thousands of views within the week. Emmy opened a social media account for the first time in years in order to respond to her new fans, who were eager to hear more. She didn't care for the attention, though, and did her best to curb the expectations of the people. She simply wished to sing for her church and nothing more. However, when the next Sunday came around, hundreds of fans showed up at the church to hear her sing, which left the building in bad shape. This devastated Emmy, who disappeared from the public eye until her relevancy faded. When she eventually returned to her church, she was welcomed back with open arms, although she still expresses guilt over the incident. Emmy and members of her church came to Miayus to sing in various places around the city and promote their faith. Ottawa Stephane. Musical, Canadian. Favorite horror movie? Blood Curdle. A composer and conductor whose specialty lies in writing for horror films. The greatest tool a filmmaker has for setting the tone of a scene is the score, especially in horror. The key to making a scene scary is obscuration, revealing as little as possible to the viewer. Music is the perfect way to communicate a lot about the feelings the director wants to convey without putting anything on screen. I am particularly partial to the technique known as the sting. It is too antiquated for some, but I have yet to find a musical expression that is more more effective at punctuating a crucial moment. Ottawa participated in the Grand Showcase with her orchestra on the top floor of the Vivaldi Tower of Music and Sound. Raymac Rhodes. Musical, American, girl next door. Raymac Rhodes is your typical country girl born and raised in Tennessee who learned how to play guitar and write music from a young age. She was born to loving parents Jared and Quandra Rhodes and excelled in school. She began her successful career in country music at 18 and has toured around the world for her adoring fans. She was recently involved in a controversy in which she was alleged to be an industry plant and undercover government agent, but these claims can be confidently ignored as tabloid nonsense. It would be a waste of time to look into it further. Raymac was in Miayus to play her latest concert in the Babylopticon. Let's go, Mullany. Oh, sorry, I missed that one. I've had my notes open to see whose names are new. But yeah, I was wondering if you'd like the entry for Mullany. I tried to do him good. Who's next? Gershek Bloom. These are the performing artists. Nationality? South African. Unapologetic mama's boy. Gershek was born to British parents during a mission trip to South Africa. Shortly afterwards, their time there finished, and they left Gershek behind with a member of the church named Bandil. She raised him as if she was her own child, and he grew up fascinated by South African culture. The only thing that he knew about his parents was that they were dancers, so he asked Bandil if he could learn. She sympathized with him and signed him up for classes, in which he excelled. As he grew older, he desired to incorporate the culture that raised him into his dancing. Today, his style is a distinct blend between contemporary ballroom and traditional Zulu folk dance. Gershek performed in the grand showcase with Bandilu watching proudly in the audience. Matt Cross, American, quick wits and luscious locks. Matt is an improv comedian who got his start in his high school drama club. During improvisation exercises, he and a handful of other students noticed that they had a particularly good chemistry with each other on stage. Within the club, the group became known as the Bozo Bunch, and later simply the Bozos. The Bozos were approached by their drama teacher, who asked them if they wanted to do an improv show for the community during the Founders Day festival, and they agreed. This show was a hit and is notable for being the origin of Matt's famous Jangles the Skeleton character. After the Founders Day festival, the Bozos continued to pursue improv, with a few sticking together and carrying the act into college and onto a television variety program titled Bunch of Bozos, which continues to run today. Matt and the Bozos came to Mieus to perform a live charity show in the Babylopticon in honor of their high school drama teacher who had recently passed away. Pezant Swern. Austrian. Favorite memory? Someone else's. Supposedly, Pezant became an expert hypnotist by hypnotizing herself every day for 3 years using a homemade pendulum. This pendulum was constructed partially from the remains of a broken mirror, which she believed would imbue the object with supernatural qualities. Her first known subject fell into a trance so deep that their leg had to be broken to snap them out of it. Pezant has since discarded the pendulum, but had it tattooed under her left eye as a substitute. It only takes focused eye contact for her suggestion to take hold. Pezant was flown into Mieus to assist in the questioning of a witness whom the MPD believed was key to solving a kidnapping case. Wamelin Woa, German, leading lady of the law. I'm a lawyer by trade, but dance is what keeps me going. I think I gravitate to tango the most because, how do you put this? I'm a prosecuting attorney, so my livelihood is based on opposing people, being on the offense and taking apart their defense. It's adversarial by nature. But when I'm dancing with someone else, it's the opposite. On the dance floor, you and your partner are working together very closely. You need each other. You rely on each other. I am very good at being a lawyer, and dance is what I love. But just like a tango, I need them both in equal parts, or else I'd get very dull or very tired. Wamelin was sent to Mieus on vacation after a particularly stressful case put a toll on her mental health. Bjanivi Erud. These are the visual artists. This is the last batch, so we're almost done here. School, visual. Nationality, Swedish. Favorite Blunt Knives song? You got my good side, right? Brianevi has always possessed captivating natural beauty. Her parents testify that even as a baby, it was impossible to take a bad picture of her. When she turned 16, she began a respectable venture into fashion modeling, but she wouldn't get her big break until 2 years later. At 18, Brianevi was featured on the album art of Blunt Knives' The Road on Fire, which went on to launch the careers of both parties. Her countenance caught the eye of magazines around the world, and she enjoyed great success. At 22, she was commissioned by a painter named Sylvester March to allow him to paint a portrait of her. When they met, their chemistry was immediate. That's the wrong there. That's the wrong there. Their chemistry was immediate. They would be married soon after, and Brianevi took an interest in Sylvester's work and learned quickly. As of recent, her modeling career has begun to slow down. That should be begun, shouldn't it? Has begun to slow down, so she dedicates much of her time to creating portraits for her friends, family, and strangers alike. Sylvester brought Brianevi to Mieus to celebrate their 8th wedding anniversary, as well as Brianevi's 30th birthday. Ignal Sadim, Israeli, a chunk off the old block. The Sadim family is a long and proud lineage of sculptors whose reputation precedes them. When a child in the Sadim family turns 16, it is tradition to give them a gift that is encased in stone, so that they must chisel through it in order to receive its contents. Which is a personalized hammer and chisel for them to keep as their own. Much like his forebears, he completed this ritual and received his tools, but he would veer off into a path unlike anyone else in this family. The subjects he chose for his sculptures were totally bizarre. Instead of the typical human or animal forms, he created washing machines, sausage links, and upside-down people. Fearing that he would hurt the family's reputation as distinguished artists, Ignal was disowned by them and ordered to change his name, which he never did. He was homeless for some time until being hired as a full-time sculptor for an eccentric dignitary. Ignal participated in the grand showcase with a relatively normal sculpture of a seahorse. Lumnum Chickaroo, Egyptian. Favorite prank? Money on a string. In his youth, Lumnum's mother worked as a tour guide around Cairo and would bring him along on occasion. During these trips, Lumnum would make a game of pranking the tourists and then taking unflattering photos of them with his mother's old Polaroid camera. He would compete with himself to get the funniest shot he could, which he would then keep and post on his bedroom wall for his friends to laugh at. One day, one of the tourists asked Lumnum to take a proper picture of him with his family, to which he agreed. He found a special kind of gratitude in it. After that, he began to ask tourists if they wanted a photo taken, for a few pounds, which helped support his family and sharpen his skills. He is a professional photographer today, but doesn't shy away from some mischief every now and then. Lumnum participated in the grand showcase with a display featuring many of his first photos, which he called Lumnum on Tour. And finally, this is the last one, Roe Waker. Scottish! Favorite collected prop? A grenade with the phrase, Yo Mama painted on it. Roe's first experience in film... I'm not going to do that. Roe's first experience in film was as an extra in a soda commercial after he stumbled onto the set by accident. He had so much fun that he began to seek out projects to sign on as an extra and see what he could get away with in the background. It was on the set of a certain disaster movie that he began his tradition of taking a piece of the set with him in his trademark backpack, starting with a piece of prop magma. He continued to do this off and on for a couple of years until he performed on the set of a big budget action film, and he was noticed by the director. The director wanted a scene shot from the perspective of a hapless bystander and wanted it done by a genuine amateur. Rowe jumped on the opportunity. Unfortunately, the footage he shot never made it onto the film, but it sparked his desire to be on the other side of the camera. Rowe participated in the grand showcase as part of the Amateur Filmmakers Exhibit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the lore. There we have it. Man, that took forever. That took almost the first hour. Such a cute romantic story for Bjornevi. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Wholesome. A nice wholesome story. I think we managed to get a lot of range across those biographies. I'm really happy with how that turned out. So, thank you to anybody in chat who was there when we were writing those. You guys certainly helped make it what it is. There are a lot of great characters that I got suggested from you guys in chat. So it was a group effort. It was really fun to put together. But we won't be hearing much about Ego and Opus on stream for a little bit because I've ordered a copy and it's getting shipped to me right now. But I will definitely show that off. I think I'll do an unboxing of it on stream. But until then, yeah, we're gonna be holding off on that. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch over. I'm noticeably whiter now, but that's okay. I hope that's not too distracting for you. See my little buddy down there? That is Richter Belmont. That's the guy that I am attempting to put together for my cosplay. Hold on, let me change the stream title. Because we finished reading. Done. Okay. And sorry again for the audio quality. I know it's... Look, I'm not going to kid anybody. I know it's not good. It's echoey as hell. And to be fair, I didn't want to take the time and put up soundproofing in this room. So that's on me. I was gonna play some music as well. Can you hear that? Is that a little loud? There we go. I managed to find some lo-fi Castlevania music. Anyway, so, yeah, sorry about the audio. Now, what we have to do, what I want to do first is show you guys what I have already. So if you'll take a look at Richter down there, that's a Smash Brothers render, by the way. Oh crap! Here's the pieces that I already have. Okay, just to give you a baseline of what we're working with here. So he's got a number of moving parts, right? So I got this at the garage sale the other day. This is a dagger. Can I show this on stream? Can I like unsheath this on stream? Is that allowed? I don't know what the TOS for that is. But he's got a dagger on his left hip, I think. Can you see it on the render? He's got one on his belt. So that's what this is for. This I'm pretty proud of. It's pretty basic, but I made. This is the first prop I've ever made, by the way. I should have thought about doing this on stream as well, but you know, say la vie. Alright, it's tangled. That's great. You know, it hasn't been tangled until now, when I'm like trying to show it off. Alright, we're almost there. Alright, check this out. So, he's got that whip, right? So I took a piece of wood. I measured out the dimensions. Right here. Or, can you see that? I made a little diagram. And used that to draw out the shape on a piece of, I don't know what to call this. This is plywood, I think. A piece of plywood. Cut it out with a jigsaw. And then spray painted it, right? Then I attached the chain to it with a shoelace. This is the shoelace right here. It's a long shoelace. Wrapped some leather I had, or some pleather I had around it for the handle. And I had trouble finding something to use with a spike ball on the end. But I ended up going with this, right? From a distance, you can't really tell, right? That it's not actually spikes. Well, I mean, you probably can, but you know, it has the same basic shape. But this actually I found in the toy section of my local thrift shop. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but I also spray painted this the same color as the chain and the whip itself. So we have the whip already, right? And I have plenty of belts. He's got lots of belts on. I got plenty of belts here. We shouldn't be short on those. Got some holsters. And I found myself a very fashionable pair of boots. I modified these a little bit. They had lace on them originally. There was originally like a bunch of lace right here. But I cut those off with scissors. So it looked a little less feminine. But it's pretty good. Whip is looking whippy. Thank you. Oh, you know what? You can't even... There we go. But yeah. These do fit. I did check. It's a little weird walking around in heels. It's not something I'm used to doing. But, I'll have to figure it out. Oh no. How did these fit in the box? I don't remember. I'll wing it. We won't have to be using this box. Well, okay. I also have this pair of pants that's far too big for me. But it was the only pants that I could find that was the right color. So, I need to wash these too. So I'll need to adjust these pants. That's something that's on our to-do list. This is my favorite Castlevania song, by the way. Or at least it's my favorite song in Symphony of the Night. Play Symphony of the Night, it's really good. That's my recommendation for the day. Now, here are my tools. I got some tools for us today. I got some pins, tape, a ruler, measuring tape, and you know, I got a pencil, pen. I think there's everything I should need. I have newspaper as well. This is what we're going to be drawing our. Hold on. How can I show you these newspapers without giving away where I live? I didn't think about that till now. let's just, I have newspaper. I have newspaper. That's what we're gonna draw our patterns on. But first, we actually need to like measure ourselves. Oh crap. Oh, well I have a piece of paper here. So what should we do first? What we need to do is we need to make a glove. We need to make a robe. We also need to make, I guess we also need to make a bandana, adjust the pants, and maybe, oh, there's a white belt on that costume. I don't have a white belt, so maybe we'll need to make something like that as well, like a little sash. Okay. You know what? The glove is really easy to do. Or it's easy at least to make the pattern for the glove. Let's see. Okay. Now, is that a right-handed glove or a left-handed glove? I think it's on his right hand because that's the hand he holds the whip in. So I have a WikiHow article that is very simple to follow. Basically, all I have to do is just draw an outline of my hand. I mean, we've all done that, right? That's like second grade stuff. Oh, you know what? Let me also grab, do I have it over there? Let me also grab the fabrics I intend to use. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll be right back! You can hear me still, can't you? I don't have my headphones on, but it should be able to pick up everything. Let's see. Okay, I think I found it. I think I've got it. Ugh. This stream is both going not as planned and exactly as expected at the same time. Okay. So we need what this is, right? This do I have, is it big enough? I don't know if I have, wait. Yeah, okay. So it's a leather glove. And I can't sew leather. I don't know how to work with leather. So I'm using this pleather instead. Right, this is what we're gonna make it out of. I just realized, how am I going to draw on this? It's black. Whatever, that's a problem for future me. The problem I have right now is drawing my hand with my left hand. So we go ahead and just get started here. It's really easy. I'm really making it a lot harder than it has to be, huh? Okay. No. I don't know if I should splay. Yeah. Yeah. I need to get it as close as possible. Your fingers spread apart. Does it matter which one I use? I guess not. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and do this. Keep it close. Yeah, you know, a funny story. This pencil is garbage? Wait, this pencil is actually garbage? Hold on. I actually changed the light bulbs in what's wrong with this? This pencil sucks. Hold on. I changed the light bulbs in the ceiling fan today in preparation for this stream, which is something I don't think I've ever put a light bulb in there before, which is a little sad. You think at some point I would have done that, right? Because it's so dark in here. Like before I put those light bulbs in, this kitchen was like just really dark. But I had this thing with just like putting up with the horrible lighting of the room when I could easily just replace a light bulb, but I just never have the gumption to change out the light bulb. Like when I'm doing dishes, right? Above my sink, I'm gonna cut out the pattern now. Above the sink, I have there's a lamp, right? You got two light switches. There's the light switch, or no, there's two switches. There's the switch for turning on the, what is it called? The shredder or whatever it is at the bottom of the sink that cuts up food. There's that, right? And then there's the light switch for the lamp above you. Well, the light in that lamp, the light bulb, went out months and months ago. It flickers whenever you try to turn it on. And it would be so easy probably to just change it. But I just can't be bothered to go through the anguish of changing out the light bulb. When it would be so simple. You know? I don't know. I think sometimes I feel like things are just going to be more complicated than they really are. Cause like before I put the light bulbs into my ceiling fan, I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna have to get the light bulbs out of the drawer and then screw in the light bulbs. And then like while I was walking through the process, right, and I was like actually doing it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is easy. This is like the simplest thing like ever. It literally took me 1 minute to put all the light bulbs in the ceiling fan. Like, why have I put this off for so long? It's not that hard. The thing is that it'd be a little more complicated to change the sink lamp because it's encased in like this glass case, for lack of a better word. It might have a name. Calling it a case doesn't sound right, but I mean that's I don't know what else to call it. So it's in a glass case. And I'm like, well, it'd be so complicated, right? Because I have to unscrew whatever screw is on there. And then take off the case. And then change the light bulb. And for what? I mean, the kitchen is brighter now, so I mean, what do I need? What do I need a sink lamp for? You know, waste of a light bulb. But I'm thinking, you know, like it's probably not that hard. I might as well. The thing is, I haven't even checked to see what kind of like screw it even uses, like what kind of fastener. It's probably just like a flathead screw. And I'm making it more complicated in my head than it really is. Because, like, I had this irrational thought, like, well, it probably uses some sort of, you know, like, proprietary thing. You know, I had to have a very specific tool that I won't have, and I'll need to go out to the shed. I'll look for it for 30 minutes, and I won't find it. Well, probably more realistic, I'll like, look for, like, 5 minutes. I won't find it, and then I'll just be frustrated, and I'll go back inside. But maybe that's my objective after this stream is over. Is change that light bulb. I'd be taking a big step. There we go. Look at that. There's our glove template. You can see that? That's my right hand right there. So now with this, what we are supposed to do is take the fabric that we're going to make the glove out of, fold it laterally, the right outer or front is facing in. Okay, so we want the glove to have this shiny look, right? Or do we want it to be matte? If it's supposed to be emulating leather, then you'd want the shiny part facing outwards, right? So this is the outward side. It's just big enough. Yeah, it's just big enough. Large enough for the entire glove pattern. Fold it so the front is on. Wait, so the front is in. Yeah, okay. Put the whole pattern out in one piece. Alright. So I need to fold this around. Cut just enough. Oh man. Okay. Probably don't need all of that wrist going on. Probably cut off some of that wrist there. Sometimes you have to take risks. That's the name of the game after all. Cut that off. Okay. The problem now is how do I The problem now is how do I mark it? Because it's black. It's black fabric. I don't have like a fabric pen or anything. Let me, hold on. Need to cut the, cut this block of fabric off. Go. Just only take as much as you need. Discard the rest. Well, don't discard it. Save it for later. But you know, I can set all this off to the side now. Good. So let me... Yeah. Well, that's not gonna work. I need like something like a highlighter pen or something like that. I think there's a highlighter over here actually. Let me. It's like an obstacle course trying to get over there. I either have to step over my laptop cord that's like plugged into the wall, or I have to go underneath my microphone arm. So I got a green Sharpie here, and I got a yellow highlighter here. Let's see if either of these will work for our purposes. Okay, this is the best option. This is the best option. So what we need to do first is I have these pins here. Have these fabric pins. We're going to pin the glove pattern into the fabric so that it stays there when we're outlining it. It recommends along the edges through both layers, 1 pin every 2 to 3 inches. And then 1 pin for each finger and thumb. I can do that. So let's see. I should have prepared some conversations for this stream. Because I knew you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing necessarily. Anything you want to talk about, chat? Anything on your mind? I mean, we can talk about anything. This is a just chatting stream after all. I don't know if these are the right needles to use, but it's the ones that I got. I'm also using newspaper for this, which I was told was a good thing to use for patterns, but it's getting torn up a little bit when I'm putting these needles through. There we go. Good stuff. Is that right? Yeah, that looks about right. My gosh, The person in this example has such a long wrist. It's insane. Like, they traced their entire arm. Why did they do that? Oh, there's a crossword on here. We can do this crossword. How about, all right, guys. Fill in the blank. Here's a Texas-ism for you. I'm gonna eat your blank. Fill in the blank there, chat. I can only imagine what kind of answers I'll get for that one. That's just the first one that I saw. I'm gonna eat your blank. I'm from Texas. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it's talking about. Lunch? I'm gonna eat your lunch? Is that a thing? I'm a Texan, and I've never heard that before. I've heard like, I'm gonna lay you out. I've heard that. I'm gonna eat your lunch. I mean, that kind of sounds right. I don't know. Actually, what is that? Across? 9 across? It's cut off. I can't see how long it is. Here's another one. Let's see. Oh, I know this one. The blank and chain. The blank and chain. That's 6 across. We know what that one is, though, right, chat? No, no. That's not it. That's not it. You know that's not it. It says in parentheses that it's related to a spouse. It's related to it's something you call your spouse. The what and chain. The what and chain. Come on, I know you can get this one. I know you can get this one, guys. I believe. This takes longer than I thought. Then there. I think I'm getting better at this. All right, here's a different one then. These are really easy. Use your head. But these aren't even worthy of asking, because they're so easy. Like, blank your head for something besides a hat rack. A Texas-ism for thinking. That's easy, you know? Use your head for something besides a hat rack. I feel like I've heard that one before, actually. Maybe I'm misremembering, I don't know. But that one sounds familiar. Yeah, how about you use your head for something besides a hat rack? Should I take my hat off? I just realized you guys can't see my, like, face when I'm looking down. Let me go ahead and take my hat off. My hair's probably been matted down enough. You want to be able to see those peepers, you know? The windows to the soul, as they say. Okay. I feel like I read that one really late. I have no idea what that's referring to. I think it's funnier that way, though. Put one here, here, here and there. Yeah, sounds right. I don't know why I'm asking. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Maybe this isn't a great idea for a stream. Because, like, you guys can't see what I'm working on. And, I can't really do this in a controlled, good-sounding environment. Let me know what you guys think. If maybe this should be a one-off stream. Or you'd be interested in seeing more of this. I'd like to do this, but like on stream. But I need an audio solution. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe using I think I still have a pair of headphones with a mic on it. That'd probably sound better than this setup right now. I'll try that. I'll try that next time. All right, there we go. There it is. It's pinned to the fabric. That won't be going anywhere. Theoretically. So, let's trace this. What was I doing? You saw that, right? I almost put it up against. I almost like sniffed this Sharpie to see what it smelled like. I'm like, oh, I haven't used this in a while. It's probably pretty old. Let me go ahead and give it a sniff. See if it's still got that potency. I just realized something, chat. Something a little silly. You guys can't see any of your chat messages appearing over here because I recently changed my name on Twitch. And my Chatterino, which is this thing over here, is set for the stream of Justin Alejandro Gonzalez. But I changed my name to Jag Cactus, which has a separate link. So I need to actually re-link my Chatterino to my Twitch. So you can't actually see anything over here. This is just actually decoration that's doing nothing right now. That's kind of funny. So oops. I'll have to fix that. I didn't think about that. I had to change my links on my link tree. Links below, by the way. Because I didn't realize that's how it worked. When you change your name, it changes your... Well, I mean, I guess it does make sense. It changes your URL because your name is in your URL. But yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it affecting Chatterino. But not to worry. There isn't much in chat anyway. I can just read you. I can read you the entire chat history right now if you want, just in case you want to get caught up. Nice hat. I can see it. Yes. In for a dime. Until I die. Let's go, Mullany. Such a cute romantic story for Beyond Navy. That's pretty good. Whip is looking whippy. Launch, lunch, ball sack, pain in my ass. That's the current summary of my chat. In case you were wondering, because you can't see it over there. I've been watching. I mentioned this last time, but I've been watching a lot of Impractical Jokers. I think it's rubbing off on me. It's rubbing off on my my delivery, my comedic timing, if you can call it comedy. Okay, hopefully. I hope that's visible enough. Oh my god, that's barely visible. But you can see it. You can see it. Now, here's the thing. The next step. Well, I guess I could. Yeah. Well, the next step isn't sewing it, so I guess I can do the next step. The next step is taking off the template, the newspaper pattern, and then pinning we'll be pinning the fabric to itself. That's the next step. Now, it does say in the instructions to use a pen that you can see clearly. Unfortunately, that is not an option for us. Me being partially shade blind, it won't help either. We'll do our best, though. I really hope I don't drop any of these needles. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, wait a second. Oh no. Well, I can see it pretty clearly, but one of the inside of the index finger right here, I didn't outline it properly. Oh no. I should have gone over it again. I know I should have done that. I will do my best to make it as accurate as possible. Did I just forget? I don't know what happened there. There we go. All right. Hey, how about that? You might even be able to see that in the camera. Did I drop a needle? No. Okay, I'm good. Whew. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Look at that. Look at that. It worked. I'm quite fond of that. In it. I'm quite fond of that. Now we need to rebind this. Hey, wait a second. actually going to turn this inside out at the end. But the last thing that we can do before sewing is pin this together. What is it? How are they doing it? So we're gonna do now. Oops. I'll put that farther away. We're just gonna pin the fabric to itself and then leave it be. I want to do all the sewing at the same time. So right now, we're just setting up the pieces. Don't want it to be too close so that, you know, it doesn't get in the way when we're sewing. There we go. Yeah, we're just chilling. We're just chilling. There's not much more for me to explain here. I'm just pinning things to fabric. I'm just pinning fabric to fabric. I don't have to be as tender here. Go. All that matters is that the fabric is attached to each other. And hopefully this Sharpie does not rub off. That is my main fear. So, how about National Pilots Day, huh? That's tomorrow. I suppose I can talk about that. Supposedly, National Pilots Day is tomorrow. And of course, in celebration for that, I will be playing War Thunder. I have kept it updated. I've made sure that it is updated, so I don't have to wait for it. You and me, Cap, we're actually going to play that together on stream. That is if everything goes according to plan. I do work late on Tuesday, so I'm hoping to get here before 7 o'clock so we can play from 7 to 9. If I work diligently and nothing unusual comes up, then that shouldn't be a problem. But if anything goes wrong, I will keep everybody here posted. So don't worry about that. Like if they have me like, hey, I need you actually to come to this building and mop this building today, you know, I'll probably not be able to make it on time. So hopefully something like that doesn't happen. keep misjudging how far I need to put these needles. There we go. Also, one reason why I'm not planning on sewing today is because I didn't think about how I'm over here and my sewing machine is over there. Now, it's not like a portable sewing machine that has a handle and you can just move it around. The sewing machine that I have is an antique sewing machine. It's built into a big table. So I can't just like scoot the table over here. And it wouldn't really be feasible to just pick up this entire stream setup and move it over there. So I need to like set up for sewing. Well, there we go. That is ready to be sewn. So we'll, where will I set this aside? I'm gonna set this aside over here for now. Good stuff. Okay. So with that done, the next piece that we have to worry about is like the outfit, the big outfit itself. So as you can see, Richter, he has like this sort of robe on. I couldn't. He has a tunic. I think it's called a tunic. I don't have a tunic pattern. I couldn't find a free tunic pattern that looked like what Richter's wearing. But I did find a free robe pattern, like a bathrobe. And when you look at it, when you look at Richter right there, it is basically kind of like a robe with some of the bottom cut off, right? And then some of the sleeve, both the sleeves cut off. So that's the plan. I'm going to follow this robe pattern and just cut off the sleeves and cut it so that it has like that tunic looking flap in the front. Yeah, it's long enough, so let me show you. Here's the robe. Here's the robe pattern that I found. And we're gonna make that, and we're gonna modify that. This should be easy. Relatively. Hold on. I say that though, but I've never had to measure myself before. So I don't know how that's gonna work. These are also, this guide is also like under the pretense that I'm a woman. So it gives me presets for women's sizes, which I don't know how to convert a women's size to me. That would be a lot easier. I wouldn't have to measure myself. So you can measurements, you're gonna draw a rectangle. Okay. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 measurements. I need bust, neck to waist, waist to knee, neck circumference, arm length, and upper arm circumference. I mean, if these are as straightforward as they sound, then this shouldn't be too hard. Right? Let me write these down. So, the only one I'm not sure of how it works is bust. Like, this is the bust, right? Right here? Like, basically, like, armpit to armpit through the nipple area. Right? That's the bust? That's what I'm assuming. Neck to waist. Waist to knee. I mean, I think it'd be a better idea to measure more than I think I need than to measure less. Or than to get less than what I need, you know. Most of these are pretty straightforward, though. Arm length. Upper arm circumference. Okay, two things. What's the bust and what's the arm length? Now, arm length, would that be from shoulder to wrist? I think that would be shoulder to wrist, right? That's the arm. I mean, well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway, because I'm cutting the arms off regardless. Yeah, that one isn't too much. We should make a headache out of that one. Okay, bust. Don't worry, I'm not taking my shirt off. It'd probably be easier if my jacket was off for this. No, not his jacket. He needs that for personal branding. Okay, bust. What is this measured in? Inches or centimeters? Okay. It's in inches. Bust. Okay, so the... Chat, something is amiss here. Something is amiss. I'm reading the examples, right? Like, you see, it has like a table of example measurements based on like what size you are if you were a woman. It's saying here the smallest preset bust size measurement is 34 inches. How? 34 inches? You think maybe that means it's wrapping all around? That's probably what it is. Because I'm thinking, from here to there, there's no way anybody's got a 34-inch, like, bust. If it's just that. But I think it's going all the way around. So let's, yeah. Yeah. My hunch was correct. Don't want this to be too tight on me. Well, I probably do want it to be a little tight on me, don't I? I have a 33-inch bust. 33 inches. 33 inches. Neck to waist. Waist is about here. I can't even see that. Chat, can you see that? What is that measurement? Actually, you know what? This would be easier. Waist is about there. 19. Cannot see. Video quality is not at 4000 HD. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's just my... Where's my waist start? About here, right? My waist is about right here. So, going off that premise, and going from... I'm assuming it means from the base of my neck to my waist. That is 20 and a half. 20.5 inches. Correct. 20.5 inches. Waist to knee. That's about 19 inches. I'm checking to see if these like line up with the sort of examples. Is this the waist? Is this my waist right here, or is this my waist? 18. 20. Okay, I readjusted where about I readjusted so that my waist is about right here. I got measurements that are a bit closer to the examples here, so I feel more confident in that. I'll finish getting these measurements, I guess, and then the stream will be over. Sorry we didn't get too much progress today. The reading at the beginning took a lot longer than I thought. Neck circumference. Anybody want to take bets on how big my neck is? The next one is arm length too. You can take bets on that. All right, how am I going to get out of this bind? can't look down at myself. How am I supposed to see? That didn't work. I guess I'll just... $14. My neck circumference is 14. Arm length will be a 12 in bust. What does that mean? A 12. Okay. That's a bold guess. I look ridiculous, don't I? From shoulder. This is so hard. It's so hard to measure yourself. Okay, I'm gonna try it the other way around. Put it here. Then adjust for inflation. Okay, and then that should be... It's very finicky. That's 23 inches. 23. You're a little bit off. Well, hold up. The smallest example here was a 27. How can that be so? Is it measuring from tip to shoulder? If that's the case, then I'm more of a 28. Again, it doesn't really matter because I'm cutting the arms off anyway. But, you know. Now this one is important. Upper arm circumference. I'm guessing this is my upper arm. My upper arm. Upper arm is about 9.75. the 10. There you go. Okay. We have our measurements now. Hopefully we did those right. Because we're going to have to make calculations based on those. So if we get these wrong, they will be exponentially more wrong over time. And that, I guess, that's going to be the stream for today. I'll clean this stuff up later. But I think we got okay progress done today. We prepared the glove, which is good. That's sort of a microcosm of what we're gonna have to do for this robe here. It's gonna be a lot of tracing, a lot of pins. So yeah, look forward to that, I guess. I don't know, chat. What do you think? I guess I should say, Cat. What do you think? Should we try this again? I should try again, right? I think this could. I wasn't prepared. That's the thing. I wasn't prepared for this stream. I'll be honest. I wasn't as ready as I probably should have been. Probably should have lined some stuff up to talk about. Cut out for you. You should keep doing. Yeah, I think I should keep it up too. I think I have an idea of how to improve the audio. If I can hook up if I can find that headset that I have with the mouthpiece, that'll probably capture audio way better. Then I'll definitely look like an infomercial guy. You know, sham wow. You know, it picks up things like a dream. Just slap it on the table, soaks it all up. You know. But I had fun. I had fun doing this. This is definitely a nice change of pace, because I'm like standing up and I'm moving around and I'm doing things. What I'd really like to have is like an above head camera, but I just don't have the production for that. So, unfortunate. Anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you for watching, listening, lurking, supporting the stream. If you're on Twitch or YouTube, you know, watching this as a VOD. Thanks for being here and watching. I know this is probably not the easiest stream to watch, so if you sat through it, thank you a lot. I'm making an effort. I'm making a conscious effort right now to actually promote the stream and, you know, to grow and all that jazz. So, thank you for being here. And what's the plan for the future? So, Tuesday, I usually don't stream on Tuesdays, but Tuesday is a special case. I'm gonna be playing War Thunder for National Pilots Day, as promised. If I can get here on time, 7 to 9. So look forward to that. That will actually be my first multiplayer stream. When I initially started streaming, I kind of told myself I wouldn't be doing any multiplayer stuff. It'd just be single player. But that'll be fun. Pilot Day! Yeah, Pilot Day. And then on Wednesday, same time as today, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we'll be doing more of this costuming stuff. Hopefully with better audio this time around. Thursday and Friday, from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we will be playing. We'll be continuing my first playthrough of Jack 3. So if you're into PlayStation Classics. I hope to see you there. I don't have a Discord, but I do have socials down below. Just click the big socials button, and you'll be brought to my link tree. So check those out. I'm trying to post regularly on Twitch. Not on Twitch. I'm trying to post regularly on Twitter and Instagram. So you can follow me there for stream announcements and other things. But other than that, yeah, that's the stream. I will now see who is, hold on, let me turn the music down. I will now see who is streaming currently that I can raid tonight. Ooh. What do I look like right now? Yo. I'll see who's on Twitch. All right. Well, kind of know the drill at this point. We are going to be raiding my pal Cyric. He is still playing Dark Souls. He's close to the end. He's close to the end of Dark Souls. So if you are wanting to avoid Dark Souls 1 spoilers, then feel free to skip out. But I encourage you not to. He is making a push himself to 100 followers. I'm looking over there to talking to the mic. He's making a push right now to get to 100 followers before his birthday. So that'd be good for him. But yeah, that's the stream for today. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. I wish you all a good night, a good Tuesday, and I bid you all farewell. Goodbye.